Welcome to the channel. Today I want to tell you a real story. The story of one of my students who completely transformed his English speaking skills. His journey wasn't perfect, but it was powerful. This is part 1 of his story. Let's begin. His name was Alex. No, he wasn't a genius. He wasn't super confident either. He was just normal, a normal boy with a dream. I want to speak English fluently. But there was a big problem. He couldn't even speak one full sentence. I still remember the first time I met him. He looked nervous. His hands were shaking. He said, "Sir, I can speak little English, but not good." I smiled and said, "It's okay, Alex. You've already spoken a sentence. That's the first step." He laughed a little. It made him feel relaxed. Then I asked him, "Why do you want to learn English?" He looked at me with serious eyes and said, "Because people laugh at me when I try. I feel small. I want to change that." That hit me hard. He wasn't learning English just for a job or a test. He wanted to learn it for his confidence, for his freedom. So I told him something simple. I said, "Alex, forget the grammar for now. Forget the big words. We'll start with your mouth, your voice. I want you to speak every single day, even if it's wrong." He was confused. "Even if it's wrong?" "Yes," I said, "especially when it's wrong. That's how you'll grow." And that's how his journey began, with broken words, with nervous hands, and with a heart full of courage. Part 2. His first week was the hardest. After our first meeting, Alex left with hope and fear. He believed he could change, but he was also scared. Scared of failing. Scared of sounding stupid. And honestly, that fear was real. Because the next day, he did what I asked. He stood in front of a mirror and he tried to speak in English. He looked at himself and said, "My name is Alex. I want to speak English." And then he laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was awkward. It felt silly. He felt stupid. He told me later, "Sir, I looked like a crazy person." But you know what I said? I said, "Perfect. That means you're growing. If you don't feel awkward, you're not learning." So on day 2, I gave him a small challenge. I said, "Go to a tea shop, order in English. Just say, 1 cup of tea, please." That's it. He was terrified. "What if the shopkeeper laughs?" he asked. I smiled and said, "Then laugh with him, but speak in English anyway." That evening, he called me. "Sir, I did it. I said it wrong. I said, 1 tea, give me please." But the man understood. I laughed. "That's not wrong," I said. "That's real. You spoke. That's the victory." And just like that, his confidence began to grow. On day 3, he asked me, "Sir, how can I speak without forgetting words?" So I gave him a tip. Use a voice recorder. Record yourself every day. Talk about your day. Like this. "I woke up at 7. I brushed my teeth. I ate breakfast. I watched a movie." It doesn't matter if it's simple. Just say it in English. He started doing it. Every evening, 10 minutes of voice recording. He made mistakes, of course. He forgot words. He paused too much. But every day, it got easier. And one day, something amazing happened. It was day 6. Alex sent me a voice message. He said, "Hello, sir. Today I went to the market. I talked to one man in English. He asked my name. I said, 'My name is Alex. I'm learning English.' He smiled. I felt happy. I listened to that message 3 times. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. He was speaking, not reading, not memorizing, speaking from his heart." I replied, "Alex, do you know what just happened?" He said, "What, sir?" I said, "Today you became a speaker." You see, Many learners think fluency is grammar. They think it's big words or long sentences. But fluency begins with courage. And in just 6 days, Alex had more courage than many people who've studied English for 6 years. He wasn't perfect, but he was fearless. On day 7, I asked him to write a short story. Just 5 sentences. Any story. He wrote, "I had no confidence. I was scared to speak. But I met a teacher. He gave me a mirror and a voice recorder. Now I speak every day." That was his story, and it became his truth. In just 1 week, his mindset changed. He stopped saying, "I can't speak," and he started saying, "I'm learning to speak." That shift was everything. Part 3. 1 month later. From sentences to conversations. After his first week, Alex had built a tiny habit: speaking in front of the mirror, recording his voice, using English in simple daily life. But now, it was time to grow, to move from short phrases to real conversations. So I gave him a new task. I said, "Alex, find one friend, just one, and talk to them in English for 5 minutes every day." He asked, "But sir, all my friends speak our local language." I replied, "Then teach one friend what you know. Help each other grow. Learning together is easier." And that's what he did. He asked his cousin, Mark, to join him. Mark wasn't good at English either, but he agreed. And that's how the magic started. Every night they sat in the park and practiced. Sometimes they talked about food, sometimes about school. Sometimes they just asked each other, "How was your day?" Their English wasn't great, but their consistency was. One night Alex came to me and said, "Sir, we talked for 12 minutes today, all in English. We made mistakes, but we didn't stop." I said, "That's not practice. That's progress." In the second week, something new happened. Alex had a small accident. He slipped and hurt his leg. He had to stay home for 5 days. He messaged me, "Sir, I can't go out. My practice will stop." I said, "Why stop? Use this time to build your mind. Watch English shows. Listen to English podcasts. Talk to yourself." So he did. He watched one English movie every day, but not just for fun. He paused the movie, repeated the lines. He listened to how actors spoke. He copied their tone, their expressions, their rhythm. He told me later, "Sir, I wasn't just watching, I was learning." And I smiled, because now he wasn't just learning English. He was learning how to learn. In week 3, I gave him a bigger challenge. I said, "Alex, I want you to teach a small lesson in English. Just 5 minutes. Pick any topic you like." He was nervous again. "Teach? But I'm still learning." And I said something he'll never forget. The best way to learn is to teach. He prepared a small talk. Topic: my daily routine. He recorded a video on his phone. "Hello, my name is Alex. I wake up at 6 a.m. I brush my teeth. I take a shower. I eat breakfast. Then I study." Simple sentences. But for him, it was a mountain, and he climbed it. When I watched the video, I didn't see mistakes. I saw effort. I saw bravery. I saw growth. Then came week 4, the toughest week. Alex decided to speak in front of a group of friends. He had prepared 10 lines. He stood up and started speaking. But after the 3rd line, he forgot what to say. He froze. People stared. He panicked. He said, "Sorry," and sat down. That evening, he messaged me, "Sir, I failed. I feel ashamed." I called him immediately, and I said, "Alex, you didn't fail. You stood up. You tried. You did something most people never dare to do. That's not failure. That's real success." He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Okay, then I'll try again." And he did. 2 days later, He stood again. Same friends, same place, same speech. But this time, he didn't freeze. He spoke all 10 lines. His voice was still shaking, but his words were clear. And when he finished, his friends clapped. He messaged me that night, "Sir, I didn't speak perfectly, but I didn't give up." And I replied, "That's what makes you a speaker now." So after 1 full month, Alex was a new person. Not just someone who could speak English, but someone who believed in himself. He wasn't fluent yet. He didn't use big words, but he was consistent. He was active. He was speaking every single day. Part 4. From confused words to clear sentences. Month 2 and 3. Month 2. Building vocabulary and facing judgment. In the second month, Alex said something very important. "Sir, I can speak slowly, but I forget words. What do I do?" I smiled and said, "Then let's grow your vocabulary, but not with a boring list. Let's do it naturally." So I gave him this method. Learn 5 new words every day, but use them in real life. Not just memorizing, using them. So if he learned the word hungry, he would say, "I am hungry now." If he learned the word beautiful, he would say, "This view is beautiful." Simple, real, practical. Every day he added 5 new words, and every day he spoke them aloud. Soon he didn't need to stop and think before speaking. His sentences became longer. His confidence became stronger. But then, something difficult happened. One day, he was talking to a group of people in a public place. He tried to speak in English, but someone laughed. A man said, "Why are you speaking English? You're not even fluent." Alex froze. His hands started shaking. He wanted to walk away and never speak again. He messaged me that evening, "Sir, maybe they're right. Maybe I should stop." I replied with one line, "Don't let small minds stop your big dreams." I told him, if someone laughs at your broken English, just smile. Because they're laughing, but you're learning. That message touched his heart, and instead of quitting, he made a decision. He said, "Now I will speak even more, even if I make 100 mistakes." That was a powerful moment. He also started a vocabulary journal in month 2. Every day, 1 page, word, meaning, sentence, drawing. Yes, a drawing. He would draw a small picture to remember each word. That journal became his best friend. He even gave names to some words. He called confidence his superhero. He called mistake his teacher. That creativity made learning fun. It wasn't school, it was a game. Month 3. Fixing pronunciation and speaking naturally. By month 3, Alex could form full sentences. He could speak for 5 to 10 minutes easily. But now, he had a new challenge. "Sir," he asked, "why do native speakers sound so different?" I explained, "Because of pronunciation, speed, and rhythm." So we worked on listening. Every morning I told him, "Listen to 10 minutes of English. Don't just understand. Imitate." He chose short videos, TED Talks, English stories, movie scenes. He paused after every sentence and repeated it with the same tone and speed. At first, it felt strange. He couldn't match their rhythm. He sounded robotic, but after 2 weeks, it started clicking. One day, he said, "Sir, I said an entire sentence with perfect tone. I sounded like an actor." He was excited. He played that sentence for his cousin, and his cousin said, "Bro, that didn't even sound like you." That moment made Alex feel like a champion. He also did another powerful thing. He started thinking in English. Earlier, when he wanted to say, "I'm going to the market," he would think in his language, then translate it. Now, he said it directly. I'm going to the market. No translation. No delay. He had crossed the bridge from learning English to living English. And here's something beautiful. He began helping others. He made a small WhatsApp group with 5 friends who also wanted to learn. Every evening, they did one thing. Pick a topic. Everyone speaks for 2 minutes. Topics like, my favorite food, a place I want to visit. What makes me happy? It became fun. It became routine. And soon, Alex wasn't just a learner. He became a leader. One night, he said something that made me emotional. He said, "Sir, earlier I used to avoid English. Now I look for English. I used to hide from English. Now I chase it." And I replied, "That's the moment you stop being afraid. That's the moment you become free." So in 3 months, Alex had changed completely. From, "I'm scared to speak," to, "Let's practice speaking." From, "People will laugh," to, "Let them laugh. I'll grow anyway." From, "English is hard," to, "English is my new habit." And that's the power of a clear plan, simple practice, and unstoppable courage. Part 5. The day he spoke without fear. The final months. It was the start of month 4. Alex came to me with a dream in his eyes. He said, "Sir, I want to speak on stage. In English. In front of real people." I asked, "Why now?" He said, "Because I want to prove something, not to others, but to myself." That answer told me Alex wasn't just learning English anymore. He was becoming something new. So I said, "All right. In 1 month, there's a youth seminar in your town. You'll be one of the speakers." He looked nervous, but he said, "Let's do it." For the next 30 days, Alex did something powerful. He practiced his speech every single day, in front of the mirror, in front of his cousin, in front of a wall, even while walking alone. His topic: How Learning English Changed My Life. He started his speech with these lines. 5 months ago, I couldn't say one full sentence in English. Today, I'm here to tell you, you can change your life 1 word at a time. Beautiful, right? But there was a problem. 2 days before the event, he felt the fear again. He messaged me, "Sir, what if I forget everything on stage? What if I freeze?" And I told him one line. "Forget perfection. Speak from your heart." He replied, "I will." Finally, the big day arrived. Alex stood behind the stage curtain. His hands were cold, his legs were shaking, but his eyes were full of belief. The announcer said, "Please, welcome, Alex." He walked onto the stage. Hundreds of eyes were on him. He took a deep breath. And then he spoke. He spoke slowly, clearly, with heart, with honesty. He told his story, the fear, the mistakes, the practice, the laughter he faced, the courage he found. And when he finished, the hall was silent for a second. Then, a loud applause. People stood up. They clapped. Some even had tears. One man came to him and said, "Your English isn't perfect, but your courage is. You inspired me." That day, Alex didn't just speak English. He touched hearts. After the event, something amazing happened. He received a message from a school in his town. "Would you come and speak to our students about your journey?" Alex read it 3 times. Then he smiled. "Sir," he said, "people want to hear me speak now." And I told him, "Because now you're not just a student. You are a real-life story." In month 5, Alex did 3 powerful things. 1. He started reading English books. Not difficult novels. Just simple books. Short stories, motivational books, even books for children. He read out loud every day for 20 minutes. His fluency grew faster. 2. He created a YouTube channel. Yes, He started sharing his English journey through small videos. He wasn't famous. He didn't have perfect English, but he was real, and people loved it. 3. He began helping others. He guided his juniors, helped his friends, and even taught his little sister English with games and stories. He said, "I never thought I would be a person who helps others speak English, but here I am." By the end of 5 months, Alex had changed completely. He was no longer afraid. He was no longer shy. He no longer waited for the right time. He spoke. He shared. He lived his English journey. And most importantly, he proved that anyone can do it. Yes, anyone. So if you're watching this video and thinking, "Can I do what Alex did?" The answer is simple. Yes, you can. Because Alex was not born with English. He built it, one small habit at a time. And so can you. Part 6. The daily routine that changed his English forever. Alex's daily English routine. Month 3 to Month 5. Every morning, Alex started his day with one line. "Today, I will grow 1% better in English." Not 100%, just 1%. Because small progress every day becomes big success in 5 months. Here's exactly what his day looked like. Step 1. Listening practice. 30 minutes. Time, 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Activity, he listened to English audio every morning. No phone in hand, no distractions. What he listened to: short motivational podcasts, English stories, slow speed, TED Talks with subtitles. He focused on how words sounded, not just what they meant. He paused after each sentence and repeated it out loud. Example: audio, "Success doesn't come overnight." Alex: "Success doesn't come overnight." He copied the speed, tone, emotion. That helped his pronunciation become more natural, almost like a native speaker. Step 2. Speaking practice, 15 minutes. Time, 8 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. Activity, mirror speaking. He stood in front of a mirror and spoke freely on one topic every day. Topic examples: my favorite food, what I did yesterday, my dream country, how I want to change my life. He set a timer for 5 minutes and talked without stopping, no matter how many mistakes. Then, he did it again. The second time, fewer mistakes. He told himself, fluency is not about perfection. It's about flow. He recorded some of these sessions and later listened to his progress. And yes, he laughed at his old mistakes, because they were signs of growth. Step 3. Vocabulary practice, 10 minutes. Time, 5 p.m. to 5:10 p.m. Activity, 5 words a day rule. He had a small notebook. He called it his Word Power Book. Every day he wrote 5 new words, their meaning, one simple sentence using each word, a small doodle or symbol to remember them. Example: word, brave meaning not afraid. Sentence: the boy was brave in the jungle. Doodle: a lion. He didn't try to remember 1,000 words in a week, just 5 a day. That's 150 words in a month. And in 5 months, 750 words. That's more than enough for everyday speaking. Step 4. English reading, 15 to 20 minutes. Time, 9 p.m. before bed. Activity, story reading or article reading. He read short English stories, English blogs for learners, motivational articles. He didn't choose difficult novels. He chose simple content that kept him interested. He read out loud sometimes. That helped him connect words with their sound. And after reading, he always wrote 2 to 3 lines about what he learned. That improved his writing too, without any extra effort. The 3 rules Alex followed every day: 1, consistency over perfection. Even if he had only 10 minutes, he never skipped. He believed something is better than nothing. 2. Speak first, correct later. He focused on flow. He didn't stop every second to fix grammar. Correction came later. Speakin' came first. 3. Make English part of life. He changed his phone language to English. He followed English pages on social media. He even started thinking in English when alone. Slowly, English became part of his daily environment. Not a subject, not homework, a habit. One small trick that made a big difference. Here's a secret Alex used. He used the 1-minute rule. Whenever he felt lazy, tired, or unmotivated, he told himself, just do 1 minute of practice. Just 1 minute. Often, that 1 minute became 5, then 10, and soon he was fully focused. That trick helped him stay regular even on bad days. What did he avoid? Yes, there were some things he stopped doing. He stopped comparing his English with others. He stopped worrying about grammar in the beginning. He stopped translating every sentence from his native language because these things were slowing him down. He focused on using the language, not just learning it. So that's the routine that turned a shy boy into a fluent speaker. And here's what I want to say to you. You don't need 5 hours a day. You don't need expensive courses. You just need a plan and the courage to start, just like Alex. Part 7. How English Changed His Life Forever. It had been 5 full months since Alex began learning English seriously. One evening, he looked into the mirror and smiled. 5 months ago, he thought, I couldn't even say, "How are you?" properly. But today, I can speak to anyone. I can express my thoughts. I can tell my story. And that small smile? It was not just a smile, it was pride, power, proof that he had changed. But the world outside had also started noticing Alex. Let's see how. 1. He got a job offer. Because of his English, Alex had applied to many small jobs before, but he was always afraid of interviews. Now, with confidence in speaking English, he decided to apply again. This time, for a job at a hotel where most guests were foreigners. At the interview, the manager asked, "Why do you think we should hire you?" Alex looked up, smiled, and answered in clear English, "Because I understand how to treat people with respect, and I can now talk to them in English without fear." The manager nodded. Then he smiled. "You're hired." That job was not just about money. It gave Alex something much more valuable. Daily conversations with English-speaking guests, a chance to grow his vocabulary every day, confidence to handle real situations. Every guest he spoke to, every problem he solved, was another step in his English journey. 2. He became a guide to others. Soon, people around him started asking, "How did you learn English so fast? Can you help me too?" Alex never said no. He started small, helping one student at a time. Then 2, then 5. He even started weekend classes in his community, for free. He used the same steps he followed: daily speaking practice, simple listening exercises, fun games to remember vocabulary. And guess what? Those students also started improving, because Alex didn't teach from books. He taught from experience, from his own struggle. That's why his teaching touched hearts. 3. His personality transformed. Before learning English, Alex avoided social events. He stayed quiet in group discussions. He always said, "What if I say something wrong?" But now, he was the first to speak. He hosted events at his job. He gave speeches in community programs. People said, "You look so confident now. What changed you?" He would smile and say, "I didn't just learn English. I learned how to believe in myself." 4. He made new friends from around the world. One day, Alex received a message on his YouTube channel from a person in Brazil. "Hi, Alex. I watched your English video. You inspired me." Then one from Turkey. Then one from Morocco. People were connecting with him, not because of perfect grammar, but because of his real story. They had one thing in common. They were learning English too. And Alex became their friend, their motivator, their example. 5. He started dreaming. Bigger learning English gave Alex more than language. It gave him a new mindset. He started setting goals. He wanted to travel. He wanted to write a book one day. He wanted to build an online course to help others like him. Before, he thought those dreams were too big. But now, he believed anything was possible, because he had already done the thing he once thought was impossible. He had learned English. The real message behind Alex's story. You see, this story was never just about words. It was about courage to start, discipline to continue, confidence to keep going. Alex's story proves one big truth. English is not just a language. It's a tool to open new doors. It's a bridge to connect with the world. It's a key that can unlock your best future. And the best part? That key is already in your hands. All you have to do is use it. So if you're watching this video today, remember this. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to speak like a native. You just need to start. And then, keep going. One word, one sentence, one day at a time. Because, like Alex, you too have a story waiting to be written. And we're here to help you write it. If you loved Alex's journey, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Tell us, what is your English dream? Because your journey matters, and your voice deserves to be heard. In any language. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and never stop believing in yourself.